This is the Brewers POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Milwaukee Brewers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
How sweep it is in Atlanta, a 5-4 win for our Brew Crew over the Braves to complete the perfect road trip over the Washington Nationals and, of course, against the Atlanta Braves. A franchise best now for our Brew Crew. 70 wins, and they took the fewest games to make it happen to be played, 114 to be exact, and they secure their 70th win of the season. Lots to get to on the program. We'll talk about Jose Quintana on the mound. Players continue to step up when needed. We'll discuss that. And of course, we mentioned it already sweeping the road trip. We'll get to all of that and much, much more. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the victorious Locked On Brewers POSTCAST. My name, as always, is Brandon Snide. You can follow me on X, formerly Twitter, at Brandon_Snide. Follow all of my work, of course, as well at WTMJ.com, where we cover all of our Wisconsin sports teams. As always, thanks to each and every one of you for always making Locked On Brewers part of your day each and every day. Remember, we are free and available wherever you get audio podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, a ton of terrific podcast apps as well. And over on YouTube, where we are live right now talking about a 5-4 Brewers win. Go to that search bar, type in Locked On Brewers, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, get notified when we talk about Brewers wins and sometimes losses, but more wins of recent than losses. And do me a favor, if you're on the live stream right now, or if you're watching this video afterwards, make sure you do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button. And as always, yes, you guessed it. As always, your thoughts, your reactions. It's a Brewers win, baby. Your celebrations all welcomed on the program this evening. A 5-4 Brewers win. We'll get to all of the good things that occurred for this team during this road trip. The bullpen for the Brewers stepping up. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about the historic pace that Andrew Vaughn continues to be on in a Brewers uniform and lots of other stuff. Of course, your thoughts and reactions as well. Let's get into your scoring summary today, brought to you by our wonderful partners at Game Day Hugh and Monarch Money. And it begins in the first inning for the Atlanta Braves. The Brewers at the top half of the first get nothing, but a Sean Murphy single in the bottom of the first would score Albies. That would give Atlanta a 1-0 advantage. How many times have we got on this program and said, when Team A scores, the Brewers respond? That's exactly what happened once again this evening in the second inning. Bryce Terrain, after a Perkins double, he swapped spots with Blake Perkins at second base with a double, knots things up at 1 apiece. Nobody scored in the third inning. That would take us to the fourth inning. The legend, capital L, Andrew Vaughn, continues to grow for Milwaukee. A home run and a no-doubter, 410 feet off the bat to center field. That would help give the Brewers a 2-1 advantage. His 7th home run in a Brewers uniform, Andrew Vaughn, that is. And then in the 5th inning, that's when things began to really shift in this game for the Brewers and the turning point in a 5-4 win.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
5th inning began with a Collins single. Yelich then would follow up with a double. That would move Isaac Collins to third base. A little Vaughn dribbler in front of the plate would score Isaac Collins from third base. That would give the Brewers a 2-run advantage. And then Blake Perkins, again, in place of the injured Jackson Chourio, stepping up when needed, his 3rd home run of the season, his 3rd home run of this road trip as well. A 2-run shot to right field would give the Brewers a 5-1 advantage. The scoring for Milwaukee, of course, with the 5-4 win, the 5-1 advantage in the 5th, would end for the Brewers. The Atlanta Braves in the 5th, 6th, and 9th inning would tack on runs in each one of those innings, but that would be it, as Trevor McGill, although giving up a home run to Michael Harris, the 2nd in the bottom of the 9th inning. Thankfully, the Brewers had a 2-run advantage in that one, but he does secure his 26th save of the season. We mentioned Jose Quintana on the mound for Milwaukee, and it's a typical Jose Quintana start. It's not, nothing is going to wow you from the start, but boy, a professional start from Jose Quintana. A quality start, 6 innings pitched tonight, 7 hits allowed, the 3 earned runs, as we had mentioned throughout the course of the game for Jose Quintana. A season high in strikeouts for him as well, with 7 this evening. His ERA jumping down a little bit to 3.57 after tonight's win. He does get the victory for the Brewers. The Brewers 70-44. We mentioned at the top of the show, a remarkable stretch for this team. We talked about last night in the 60-game stretch, a franchise best 44-16. They have now played the fewest games to get to win number 70 in their entire franchise history. So, and the other good thing about it too is yes, that's great. You keep winning. You sweep the road trip. You're beating teams that you should beat. You're taking care of business. You're doing exactly what you need to do. But the Cubs also won today, so you're not allowing them to gain any ground whatsoever. A getaway game today for the Brewers. I shouldn't really say getaway because they're coming back home, but a getaway game going away from Atlanta back into Milwaukee. A night game, which in game 3 of series is really rare. The Brewers do take care of business. They don't let their foot off the gas tonight, and that's what you get, a 5-4 win. Again, something we haven't seen quite a bit throughout this road trip, a tighter game. Certainly the score looks tighter than it felt. I know for me personally, I'm prepping for a Brewers win in the 7th inning. Jared Canning shutting down the opposing team. Abner Uribe lights out in the 8th inning for the Brewers. We mentioned McGill securing the save. Does give up the home run, but that back end of the bullpen for this Brewers team is truly remarkable. And we mentioned the Jose Quintana 6 starts. He's now 9-4 as well on this season. Check out this stat for the Brewers. When the starting pitcher for Milwaukee goes 6 or more innings, they are an impressive 31-6 on the season, our Brew Crew. Jose Quintana, 6 innings pitched tonight, and the Brewers secure the win, 31-6. Now, a lot of teams you could probably point and be like, well, you're going to probably win more times than not. The back end of the bullpen for the Brewers, we mentioned their record, almost unbeatable when they are leading after 8 innings. So again, Jared Canning, shout out to you. Abner Uribe, shout out to you. And Trevor McGill, 26 saves on the season. He pitches the 9th, just gives up that one earned run, that solo home run from Harris. But a fantastic performance from this team. We mentioned Jose Quintana's numbers. We mentioned Andrew Vaughn, but none of those guys are getting tonight's honors in a 5-4 player of the game on the Locked On Brewers postcast.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
It kind of came down to 2 names for me. And it was a interesting point, and it's a good problem to have. And I didn't want to do 2 names once again, but I do got to give a honorable mention tonight to Isaac Collins, who was 3 for 4, was on base. It felt like at every at bat on this road trip. And he certainly has been certainly in that discussion. He did get on base tonight 4 times, the 3rd time he's done that this season. So, I mean, the rookie of the month for the month of July, he's been the player of the game before. I cannot come up with enough adjectives to describe the person, the player, and what he's been able to bring to this team. The 28-year-old rookie who was an infielder by trade, moved to the outfielder, what the Brewers needed, certainly trying to limit the days that Christian Yelich is out there playing left field, and has been nothing short of fantastic for this team on the field, in the clubhouse, in the dugout, and certainly at the plate tonight. He's an honorable mention, 3 for 4 player of the game tonight, but I got to give it to Blake Perkins tonight. A decisive 2-run home run there in the 5th inning. We mentioned it as the turning point in tonight's 5-4 win. Blake Perkins, another guy. You talk about Isaac Collins, another guy in Blake Perkins. Jackson Chourio misses this road trip after going out of that Chicago series. And what does Blake Perkins do? Knocks in 3 home runs throughout this road trip, has a boatload of hits, 3 for 4 this, or excuse me, let me see where he was at. I think he had another. Yeah, he was 3 for 5 this evening, had another at bat late in the game, a couple of RBIs. We mentioned the home run. The Brewers win by 1. He has a 2-run home run in the 5th inning, and that's really what was the difference in the ball game, as Trevor McGill going into the 9th had a 2-run lead. He doesn't give up that solo shot, as we had mentioned, but Blake Perkins tonight. And again, I cannot say enough good things about guys like Isaac Collins. We talked about Blake Perkins, Anthony Siegler, Caleb Durbin, where these guys aren't necessarily everyday players, but they're getting those everyday starts now because of what's transpired as far as injuries go. And it was good to see Sal Frelick back at top of the order for the Brewers. He does return this evening as well and really doesn't skip a beat. Also 2 for 4 this evening. So a good game back for Sal Frelick. But again, it's the mentality of the manager. It's Murph ball. It's it's a cliche in sports, but it's the next man up mentality. And you can certainly look at so many players on this Brewers team that just continue to take that step forward when somebody else has to take a step back or has to take a break or has an injury, and the Brewers don't skip a beat, including their 6th straight win. We're halfway to free hamburgers for those keeping track at home from our friends over at George Webb, and 9 out of 10 now have been victorious for the Brewers, and they'll return home for a couple of very, very winnable series against the Mets and the Pirates. Your thoughts, your reactions, your celebrations, all welcomed on the program coming up in a 5-4 Brewers win. Today's Locked On Brewers Postcast is brought to you by Game Day Hue. And if you're on the live stream or watching the video, so is this sweet hat I am wearing. And for Brewers fans like me, this one hits the mark. They make clean, no logo gear with team-inspired colorways for every pro and every college fan base. It's all about letting your colors speak for you. You don't have any giant logos, just smart, versatile style that works on game day, on the golf course, or if you're like me, running around in town or anywhere in between. And it's not just hats, it's the gloves. Check out the split shade golf gloves I'm wearing, made for the golf course, of course. Super comfortable, flexible, the perfect gift for the fan who has everything. And right now you can get 15% off with code MLB15 at Game Day Hue. That's GameDayHue.com. The code even stacks on bundle deals. So right now is the time for you to load up. Let your colors talk, because colors speak louder than words. That's GameDayHue.com, code MLB15. Today's Locked On Brewers Postcast is also brought to you by Monarch Money. Do you ever wish managing your money felt easier? And with Monarch Money, it surely can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. It's more than just a budgeting app as well. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, all of your investments, all of your spending in one simple place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. And I don't know if you're like me, I was tired and just sick and tired of so many apps, so many different banking apps and credit card apps, and what was being spent where, and having to go to this app, to that app. Well, you don't have to do that with Monarch Money. Everything is in one simple place. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com. You get 50% off of your first year. Who knows? The Brewers might be 50 games over 500 here soon. You can use that code LOCKEDONMLB for 50% off of your first year. Once again, monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. A 5-4 Brewers win in Atlanta sweeps the road trip over the Nationals and the Braves. 6 straight now for the Brewers. They have won 9 out of their last 10 games. Jose Quintana, 6 quality innings on the mound, stepping up when needed. Isaac Collins, 3 for 4. Blake Perkins, 3 for 5. Guys just continue to step in and perform and do good things for this Brewers team. 70-44 on this season, outscoring their opponents 53-20 on this road trip were the Brewers. That is some insane offensive numbers, and the Brewers continue to get it done in every phase of seemingly every game that they have played here in the last 2 or 3 months now, as they are continuing to stay ahead of the Cubs, still 4 games over in the NL Central. Let's begin with Everydayer Glory Days Sports Consulting over on YouTube. Vaughn, Collins, Perkins, Sal Frelick staying red hot to include Ortiz contribution. Would you feel comfortable if Murphy pulls names out of a hat for starting lineup and down lineup every? That's very solid. I would not put that past manager Pat Murphy for doing that. However, he had sent a message after last night's game saying, this right now will be the toughest task for this team, to remain with that competitive edge, remain hungry, remain with that little bit of a chip on your shoulder, despite having a 4-game lead on the Cubs. You don't have to go back far, guys. 30 days ago, the Brewers were trailing the Cubs by 4 games in the NL Central Division. 30 days in fast forward. They now lead the Cubs by 4 games. So I don't think Pat Murphy is going to do that. I think it would be hilarious, but we didn't even mention it, and shame on me, Andrew Vaughn. We kind of mentioned his home run, 2 for 4 this evening at the plate for Andrew Vaughn. Quietly has a 12-game hit streak. So don't yell that too loud into the abyss, but Andrew Vaughn just continues to be everything that this Brewers team has needed offensively. Everydayer Harley over on YouTube. What a run this team is on. They are on pace to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Win it for Uke. Go Brewers. I believe, don't quote me, that the magic number is now 45, I think, for the Brew Crews, as Jay Andrews over on YouTube is celebrating 70 wins, 6-0 roadie. Again, I don't care what team you play on the road. I don't care if it's the Little League Nationals, the Braves, who are kind of in free fall mode. It doesn't matter who you play on the road in Major League Baseball. It could be anybody. For you to be able to outscore your opponents 53-20, to win games in so many other different ways, right? Like today wasn't a gaudy offensive day for the Brewers. Yes, they had 14 hits. They only plated 5 runs. And Washington, they scored, a boatload of runs. Those were different wins for them. They found different ways to win, but it was different tonight for this team. And it was, again, a better Braves team than their record will indicate. Now, obviously, injuries with Austin Riley and Acuna Jr. as well, kind of piling up on them. But Spencer Strider, getting the start this evening as well. So, I mean, they still have a lot of talent over there in Atlanta, but the Brewers are able to find different ways to win, and that certainly was the case this evening. Jason, Everydayer over on YouTube, says Collins and Perkins out of this world today. Go Brewers. I'm going to tell you right now, it was tough with the player of the game, but I felt like because of Blake Perkins' 2-run home run in the 5th inning, the Brewers up in the 9th at one point by that 2-run, decisive home run, and then eventually the home run from the Braves would make it a 1-point game. I had to lean towards Blake Perkins getting the player of the game for the Locked On Brewers postcast 5-4 win over the Braves. But man, it was definitely tough. Everydayer Kevin over on YouTube. One thing I like about this team is that they are really playing solid complementary baseball. Collins, the NL Rookie of the Year. Murphy better be Manager of the Year again as well. I don't know right now how you don't give it to Isaac Collins. I'd be perplexed to find if it goes to somebody else. Now, the one thing with Murphy, I agree he should be Manager of the Year. We'll see what happens with the Marlins because they are starting to surge down there in South Beach. And I'm not predicting anything with that team, but if they go on an insane run in August and September, I could see Manager of the Year being awarded down there. But does the award that Murph got last year hinder his chances on getting it this year? This team is better, clearly. I mean, they franchise record after franchise record, franchise best record in baseball, have completely flipped their season around, over the last 2 months. Between all of us, I think we all know Manager Pat Murphy should get the award, but will he get the award? It's kind of like in basketball, not to get completely off topic, but, we'll keep it Milwaukee. Giannis could probably and should probably have the MVP every year, but voter fatigue. So, as Nathan says, Murphy Manager of the Year easily. I think he should be. I don't think there's any doubt whatsoever that he should be. I'd be curious to see if baseball voters feel the same way and are willing to give another small market manager the same award in back-to-back years. Although we all agree he absolutely should. Kep over on YouTube. I can't wait to tell my kids about the 2025 Milwaukee Brewers. What a season. What a team. This is truly special, and I'm glad us fans are living in the golden era of Brewers baseball. That right there is probably the comment of the night. I could not agree more. It absolutely is the golden era of Brewers baseball. And this team has completely kind of transcended into winning in different ways, right? New York wants to spend a boatload of money. Chicago, although Cubs fans will probably tell you they don't spend enough money. Dodgers fans like Mets and Yankees and the way that the Brewers play, the way that they win, the way that they're successful, the way that they're consistent should be talked about more in the game of baseball. I think it would drive a lot more fans who may not be everydayers, as far as at the game of baseball, to watch a Brewers team and be like, wow, you don't have to hit 3 or 4 home runs every game to score runs. You can do it by having a squeeze bunt or a hit and run play, or defensively you can do it in certain ways. Like, that's what to me, if I'm talking to a person who's on the fence about watching the game of baseball, I'm pointing to this Brewers team, not because they're 70-44. Certainly it helps, right? They're the best team in baseball, but it's because of the way that they play the game. Because the way that they play the game, the way that they have won, the way that they've continued to be consistent is the way that baseball has been taught since you're playing Little League. That's the way you're taught. Play good defense. Have a good approach at the plate. Be aggressive when it's time to be aggressive, and play and be a good teammate and step up when you need to step up. If you're not going to get to start every night, but when it's your turn, when your number is called, go out there and perform. And that's exactly what we're seeing. We talked about Isaac Collins. We're talking about Blake Perkins, the player of the game. Those are two guys that are living that example. So the way that the Brewers are playing baseball, the way that they've won, should be talked about more, without a doubt. Reborn Chicken over on YouTube says, shouldn't you have Brewer picks behind you? I got Christian Yelich right behind me. There's one right behind me. You can sort of see Yelich right there. I've caught a lot of flack about the Brewers pitchers in the background, and I promise you, in my basement studio here, there's a ton of Brewer stuff, not necessarily right behind me within camera view, but I do appreciate you guys concerned about the Brewer pitchers. We got a few, though. There's a few that you can't see as well. Not a whale over on YouTube. Been drinking too much during this win streak, but Cubs fans, tears keep me hydrated. Yeah, they got the win today. Fans down there in Chicagoland not feeling great. Certainly have felt defeated by what this team has been able to do. Certainly over the 2 months or so, but we mentioned what this team has done over the last 30 days. It has been just insanely crazy good. Historically good. Cody over on YouTube, 70 wins, not the Dodgers, not the Yankees, not the Phillies or the Mets and the Cubs, but our Milwaukee Brewers, a 6-0 road trip. Oh, how sweep it is. Certainly feels good. Nathan over on YouTube, small market magic is Milwaukee's DNA. When the Bucks did it in 2021, Giannis dropping 50, confetti raining, Deer District exploding. It wasn't just a championship. Yeah, certainly. And that kind of brings up a whole nother conversation about the way that, large market media discusses small market Milwaukee, and that we can go down that road and it would take us, hours and hours and days to discuss it. But the way that this team plays, the way that they approach every game, it's certainly their manager, it rubs off from him. Like, he is clearly has the pulse on that clubhouse. I don't think any of us would disagree. We've all agreed that he probably should be manager of the year. But again, the way that this team plays needs to be talked about more. It's absolutely remarkable on how they do it. And it's consistently. It's not, 1 year here and it takes a few years. No, it's consistently. And I'm guilty of it. I know a lot of fans are guilty about it, pounding the table saying, we want Gino Suarez. We want this bat. We want this bat. The Brewers have a method to their madness, and it's working. And I can't knock it anymore. I can't. I was mad when they lost Willy Adames and didn't decide to do anything with him. And obviously, Joey Ortiz at certain parts of the year had to step up, and he has been better as of late. But I can't knock it. They are successful. We are in the golden era of Brewers baseball. I can't knock it. It is clearly working, and they're doing the things that they need to do. And Matt Arnold, too, who does not get talked enough about, as far as the executive and what he does for his job and the footsteps he followed in after David Stearns left it and the expectations. And he has picked right off where he left, where he grabbed the job from and hasn't looked back. Green Lawyer over on YouTube says, I live in Nashville, been supporting the Brewers since 1981. This is the most I have enjoyed baseball ever. That says a lot, because the 1982 season surely was special, right? You go kind of in my era, the 2008 season was insanely fun. 2011 was fun. 2018 was really fun. So that says a lot. And I think I'm getting there with you, Green Lawyer, but I'm curious to see how far this run takes us. This is a World Series team. I don't have any doubts about that. Now, can they stay healthy? Even when they don't stay healthy, because we just talked about that last night with Jackson Chourio and Sal Frelick, they're still finding ways to get the job done. I'm done doubting this team. This is a World Series team. I have no doubts about it. Everydayer Greg says Perkins and Collins both rocked it. Yeah, fantastic for the both of them this evening. And we talked about how special it was between the two of them. 9 for 6. 6 for 9 between the two of them this evening. And again, the difference in the ball game was Blake Perkins. Isaac Collins, though, on base 4 times as well. It's been remarkable. Tom over on YouTube says both switch hitters with amazing outfield fielding when they're hitting, they're the most valuable ball players you can have. Completely agree with that. And again, credit to Matt Arnold, credit to the pro scouting department for this team to be able to find these guys. I remember when they signed Blake Perkins, I was probably like, oh, okay, great. Look at the role that he's playing, and he took a bad injury during spring training with the shin injury, with the foul ball off of it, and was out for a while. Comes in and doesn't skip a beat for this team. And Isaac Collins is another one who has been through the ringer, as a 28-year-old rookie, and steps right in and goes out and plays left field and doesn't skip a beat in place for Christian Yelich from time to time and at the plate, and what he's able to do on the bases. It's just a team that's all around. The depth is such a huge talking point when you talk about what teams are good, what teams are not good. Can they be good? The potential of them being good. We're seeing the Brewers' depth come to fruition, right? Again, talked about it last night. If any team in baseball loses their two best players, which the Brewers have during this stretch here, I know Sal Frelick returned, but you don't have Jackson Chourio, you don't have Sal Frelick. All year, those have been your best two players, both offensively and defensively. And what do the Brewers do? Rattle off 6 in a row, rattle off 9 out of their last 10, and they don't skip a beat. Biss 1987 over on YouTube says, throwing this out there, you got 4 good starters in the postseason. Do you put Woodruff or Miz with Peralta for a game? And then you have the other 2 steads that can go deep in the other games. Need 3, right? It's a great conversation. It certainly will probably be addressed, obviously, throughout September, and we'll see what the health is going forward. I wouldn't be opposed to having Mizorowski as coming out of the bullpen. If they're really concerned about his innings and pitches thrown and where he's at, I would not be where I would. If they did a starter and then throw Miz in there for 3 or 4 innings and kind of mix things up, which we've saw with Craig Counsell before he left for Chicago. I think Pat Murphy would be open to that, but that's a good problem to have right now. Quinn Priester is your best pitcher. The Brewers have now won 12 of his 12 straight in games in which he's either started or pitched in. So right now he's been hot, right? I still believe in Freddie Peralta. I know I was a little concerned, a little stressed out over his starts and 108 pitches and only 5 innings pitched last night, but I still believe in Freddie. I still believe he has the stuff. We've seen it in the postseason with Freddie. So right now it's a good problem to have for this Brewers team. We'll certainly see how it plays out. And don't forget, Robert Gasser probably on his way back at the back end of August, as is Shelby Miller very, very soon. Could see Shelby Miller in Milwaukee this weekend. That's per Adam McKelvey for the Brewers.com beat writer. Steven over on YouTube, Brewers win the Don't Explain It, Just Enjoy the Ride award. Yeah, it's kind of where we're at right now. Again, they continue to defy everybody's expectations and maybe ours as well. I'd be lying to you right now if I said I expected the Brewers to be 26 games over 500. Certainly, if you pulled me aside after the first 4 games of the season in New York, and then when they got blown out against the Royals at home at American Family Field to open things up, if you would have told me back then Quinn Priester is going to be your best pitcher, Andrew Vaughn's going to probably be your best hitter as of now, I would probably look at you like you're crazy. But that's what's happened with this team over the course of the last 2 or 3 months or so. They have completely flipped their season around. That's why you play a whole season. Remember, early parts of the year didn't look like anybody was going to stop the Chicago Cubs. You can go back to July 6th, as we had mentioned, when the Chicago Cubs had a 4-game lead on the Brewers on July 6th. It is now August 6th, and the Brewers have completely flipped that. 10 games they have turned around in 30 days. It has been absolutely remarkable. That includes a 5-4 win tonight over the Braves in Atlanta, completing the 6-game road trip series sweep between the Nationals and the Braves in some very, very winnable series coming up at American Family Field, including starting on Friday night against the New York Mets. And we'll be here to talk about it. All things Brewers, of course. My thanks to each and every one of you for always making Locked On Brewers part of your day each and every day. I cannot thank you guys enough for what you have brought to this show and made the Locked On Brewers postcast what it is. It is awesome to be able to sit here, and obviously it helps when the Brewers win and now 70-44 on the season, but all of you guys deserve a lot of credit for what this show has turned into. So my thanks, as always, to each and every one of you. Remember, we are free and available wherever you guys get audio podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, tons of other apps, as well as over on YouTube. If you're on the live stream right now, do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment, drop a thought. I still get to all of them even after the live show. So I will see it and I will respond. I promise you that. My name is Brandon Snide. You guys can follow me on X, formerly Twitter, at Brandon_Snide. We'll pick things back up on Friday as the Brewers will welcome in the New York Mets for a 3-game series. As always, boy, does it feel good to say this 6 times in a row now. Always feels better after a win. And we've done it 6 straight. We'll go for 7 straight on Friday. But win, lose, or draw, it is always go Brewers. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one. Talk to you Friday.